With required frequent PCSing, permanent change of station moves, active duty service members and their families will navigate the housing decision several times. Relocating can be challenging, but assistance is available. Refer to the PCS module for details. In this module, we'll explore the various housing choices, whether the service member is single or has a family. The housing choice falls into two major categories, base housing or community housing. Base housing is that provided by the government and can be either on or off base. Community housing, or market-based housing, is any housing not located on base property and not owned or maintained by the military. This includes civilian rentals and ownerships, as well as living with family members or staying in an RV. There are pros and cons to each choice that need to be evaluated with every move. Base housing is owned by the DoD. Maintenance can be done through the DoD or by a privatized company. Base housing can be located on base or outside the base gates in small communities. When in base housing, all of the BAH will likely go to paying for housing. Some pay will see the BAH come in as an entitlement and go out for the same exact amount in deductions. Others may not find a BAH listed at all. In some cases, base housing can be slightly less than BAH, which means they would get to keep that overage. The overage will not be of any substantial amount. While the way BAH is treated will differ, when choosing base housing, they can project no receipt of an entitlement and no cost for rent. Further, utilities will differ slightly, but will be greatly reduced when compared to community housing. In some cases, full utilities are included in rent. More trending is the change to allot a certain max usage, maybe wattage for electricity, gallons for water, and then paying anything that goes over this max allotment. If usage is under the limit, a refund could be issued or applied in the next billing cycle. Living on base offers a sense of community, convenience, and a supportive environment, with various facilities at no cost meant to enhance the quality of life. Just like any other rental, maintenance is at no extra cost and pets are at the discretion of the facility. While visitors are allowed and able to spend the night, they must be accompanied by someone with a military ID when on base. Base housing is the default choice due to the reduced leasing complications and transition costs with community housing. Unaccompanied housing is provided for unmarried junior enlisted personnel and those choosing to geobatch. Unmarried junior enlisted personnel must live in on-base accommodations. Those required by rank and time in service varies by branch. This could be in barracks, an apartment-like dorm setting, or even shipboard facilities. Depending on the facility, they may have to share a room and/or a bathroom with others. Included in their budgets would be a discussion around local transportation, since generally they are not afforded a personal vehicle during this time. Occasionally, the higher-ranking junior enlisted members may be forced out of unaccompanied housing due to limited space. In this case, they are provided with a partial dislocation allowance, DLA, but they are not given much time to adjust their finances. When mentoring someone involuntarily living in unaccompanied housing, it's wise to bring up the idea of a transition savings fund to cushion the move out of unaccompanied housing eventually. Service members who choose to geobatch, meaning voluntarily serving orders without their dependents at the same station, can also seek to utilize this housing option. The option for geobatching is not guaranteed due to space. The unmarried junior enlisted personnel are prioritized for such accommodations. MWR, or Morale, Welfare, and Recreation, is a quality of life program that provides a variety of community activities and services at low or no cost. Some service members may own an RV as their primary residence. This is more common for those nearing retirement or termination of service. Chasing the nomadic, minimalist lifestyle, more commonly referred to as van life, is difficult for active duty members, but nonetheless is an option. Fees to park and plug into an MWR lot are minimal, and the duration of the reservation cannot exceed 30 days. If service members need long-term or short-term storage for their personal or recreational vehicles, options are also available. MWR storage offers spaces, though availability isn't guaranteed and wait lists may apply. Long-term storage allows one vehicle per space for a minimum of 4 months, which is valuable for those who are deployed. Short-term storage is available for up to 21 days. Private storage units can also be considered based on their needs and base location. Community housing, or fair market housing, is what most service members and their families will utilize. This refers to housing purchased or leased in the civilian housing market. As financial mentors, it's crucial to guide service members in establishing a solid housing budget. The cost of renting or buying a home in the civilian market can vary widely based on location, size, amenities, and local market conditions. In some areas, market-based housing may be more expensive than the BAH, while in others, it might be less expensive. Choosing off-base housing can be said to bring flexibility and better meet the personal preferences for square footage, yard size, location to amenities, and other lifestyle considerations, like proximity to work, schools, and acceptance of pets. Having the option to live off-base can help align personal finances and available benefits. This helps service members make the most of their resources and maintain financial stability. There are a few points to consider when choosing community housing. BAH is determined by rank, number of dependents, and location. The rates are adjusted annually to reflect the change in the housing markets, and it's intended to cover approximately 95% of housing expenses. Therefore, BAH is a crucial factor of the service member's housing budget, and it's important to make the right choices to make sure the amount of the allowance matches up to the choice of housing. You will also want to highlight the importance of accounting for potential out-of-pocket expenses and opportunity for savings. This includes costs not covered by BAH, such as certain utilities, maintenance, or commuting expenses. With the Service Member Civil Relief Act, the service member is afforded a few protections when engaging the civilian housing market. The most beneficial protection is against lease termination fees. Service members can break a lease without penalty if they receive PCS orders or deploy for more than 90 days. This means they can confidently lease a property with the knowledge that they will not be financially penalized for breaking a lease due to career requirements. The SCRA limits the interest rate on mortgages to 6% during their time in service and for 1 year following the end of service. Equally protective in both situations, service members have protections against eviction and non-payment of rent if their rent is below a certain amount. For those who purchased a home, lenders are required to get a court order before they foreclose on the home. These protections are valuable when service members are not reachable for long periods of time due to sensitive work schedules or locations. Service members can also choose to purchase a home using a conventional mortgage or VA loan. VA loans offer benefits like zero down payment options, competitive interest rates, and no private mortgage insurance. Service members are eligible for VA loans after 90 days of continuous service. A funding fee is required at closing, ranging from 1.5% to 3.3%, depending on the size of the down payment and whether it's their first or subsequent use of a loan. This fee can be waived if the participant has VA disability compensation. VA offers other types of assistance as well. It has an interest rate reduction refinance loan to lower interest rates on existing VA loans. Adapted housing grants are available for total or permanently disabled veterans, and Native American direct loans for purchasing, constructing, improving, or refinancing homes on Native American trust lands. If the service member has purchased a home or receives orders to move away from the home, there are 3 options. 1, sell the home. 2, keep the home and rent it out. Or 3, keep the home vacant or choose unaccompanied orders. The decision made will hinge on the financial capacity and long-term intent for the property. It's important to help them ensure affordability and manage their finances effectively. Here are some main considerations. Since the BAH is meant to be used for housing, we can do a base calculation to help them see if keeping the property is affordable. Adding the current monthly mortgage payment to the monthly housing cost at the new location and subtracting the BAH that will be received at the new location will give them insight. If the property is part of the homeowners association or condominium association, factor in these monthly or annual fees as well. This math may improve if the spouse has income involved. Anytime a property is owned, a maintenance and repair savings account is recommended. The goal will be approximately 1% of the home's value annually. This ensures funds are available for unexpected repairs and long-term improvements. The first would be the location of the duty station. It can impact the rental demand and property management logistics. Stable rental markets are preferred for obvious reasons. Those in proximity to military bases will have higher demand as well. Regardless of how well the rental market has been, plan for a potential vacancy of 1 to 2 months worth of rent. This cushion helps cover mortgage payments and other expenses during periods without tenants. Other expenses related to rentals will include expecting to pay approximately 10% of monthly rent for property management services. This fee covers tasks like tenant screening, rent collection, and maintenance coordination. Costs for advertising on platforms like militarybuyowner.com and utilizing relocation assistance offices and family housing offices for additional support to help ensure they don't suffer a vacant month. Owning a rental property can be a rewarding investment, but it's essential to plan carefully and understand all associated costs. Considering these factors can help you assist service members to make an informed decision and maximize their rental property's potential. To help simplify the reporting of taxes, consider recommending they use the same service or software each year, as long as it fits their budget. Due to frequent moves, it's best to choose one that has access to submitting documents online. By using the same preparer, they will ensure consistency of reporting carryovers and reduce the potential of being audited. We recommend they request an e-copy of the return and all worksheets attached. They can consider storing it electronically with their estate planning documents for organization and ease of access. If they should need to change preparers in the future, they will have the documents available to make the transition quicker and easier. It's not enough to simply request a copy of the completed return. They need to make sure they understand to some degree what has been completed. This is beneficial from their own perspective as well as if they need to answer questions of a follow-up preparer or audit. Annual returns must include rental property income reflecting any carry-forward items. When selling a home, the rules are basically the same. The one main difference is that of capital gains. If the property being sold is considered the primary residence in which they occupied at least 2 years, and they are subject to PCS or a deployment that takes them away from the property, they can have up to 15 years to avoid capital gains tax. When operating as a rental property, it's important to consider applicable carry-forward items